So folks, I'm going to tell you a story. A story of a battle between Monty, who may be Tyrantius, as our orange Protoss in the top left, and Socke, our blue Protoss in the bottom right, and a caster wannabe commentator named Vladirag. FDV Vladirag to be precise, on the map Bel'shir Vestige. I think it's ESL, Bel'shir Vestige, whatever, it doesn't matter. The story begins with a mouse trouble and a restart, saying, well, you know what, let's rewrite history a bit, whatever, I haven't casted this game, I've only got 10 seconds in, everyone knows, you just put the pylon down, right, the pylon. Everybody puts the pylon down. I mean, if the pylon was placed somewhere else, maybe it'd make a difference. So whatever, mouse freezes, goes on lawn, we restart. The next one, your casting is brilliant, your timing is impeccable, the game is fun and fascinating and going back and forth, and you look in the top left corner and you're like, oh, that's funny. Fraps isn't on. Oh crap. And then you realize you have to restart again, and that is where we are right now. Socke, our blue Protoss. Monty, who's probably Tyrantius, I'm not sure. Our orange Protoss. I already told the story of how I just sort of picked a replay at random, just basically opened my pro replay folder and just double clicked somewhere in that list, and all of a sudden I'm watching this game. I think it was Tyrantius, and I think this is from EPS, but I'm having difficulty remembering what that stands for. Whatever, let's see what happens now. Our assimilator is done for Socke first, but there is another one on the way for Monty before the one for Socke. Going to be seeing how that matters. Basically it means that Socke is going to have a little bit more gas in the early game, but eventually Monty is just going to overwhelm him in terms of gas. It won't even take him very long, even with the slight amount that he does have on gas. I will point out that there's the 2. Until this point, he actually has been behind in gas income. He has now just barely begun to creep ahead, having about, 160 gas income to 120. Let's see if I am right. Yeah, roughly, whatever. It's all good. Either way, this game is going to continue. We have a gateway coming down. Gateway's coming down for Monty. Not gateway's coming down. Sorry, a stalker coming out. Looks like Monty is just a little bit ahead in production, having warp gate just a tad faster. On the other hand, we are seeing Mothership Core first out of Socke. Interesting choice, one that is actually, fairly common these days, as the Mothership Core having its energy get high is very useful. There's a lot of things where you say, well, you want to use the energy. With the Mothership Core, it's like, well, how many times can I photon overcharge, or how many time warps do I have? Can I mass recall after I've done a time warp? Things like that you have to think about. We do see a Twilight Council coming down. Could be Blink, could be for Blinks, or I almost said Blink DT, whoa. Or I was thinking Blink DT, I was about to say Blink Stalker, but I was thinking Blink DT, which would just be terrifying. Oh my gosh, that would be so OP. Either way, we do have a stalker coming out. Both players now beginning to establish map control, scouting every which way, trying to find any proxy pylons that might be placed. It's about this time that a proxy would be coming down for a 4-gate. Hence all of the movement around the map. Of course, any proxy is going to be in this position or this position, maybe like over here too. Basically, you want it fairly close to the base, otherwise there's really no point. You just could walk across. Going to be losing a stalker here. Now, I can tell you that it was because of a missed micro earlier. Not going to go back and rewatch it. It's not too exciting. But you want to be careful always to use a move when you do. Because, yeah, that might happen. Either way, Mothership Core here from Monty, going to be doing a little bit of the harass. Not going to lose it, though he did come sort of close there to actually being in a little bit of trouble. Going to be losing a couple of probes now for that trouble. And the Mothership Core recalls out, and these 2 stalkers here forced to retreat. Probe coming in, basically trying to see if they can make anything of this little bit of an advantage he had after he lost that stalker. It will not be happening. There are now enough forces here to stop Monty from going anywhere in as my mouse freezes, which didn't happen at all. That was one of the things I was thinking, wow, it's just so great that my mouse isn't freezing while I cast. Yeah, Fraps wasn't on, so the mouse freezing thing doesn't happen then. Either way, still scouting around with the Stalker's very smart move, as the probe does scout that there is no expand. Going to be going down, trying to check the third. Sort of iffy about whether or not he makes it. Does not. They will be checking for a proxy. Oh gosh, did it freeze at the bottom somehow? Yeah, it did. There we go. Got it back. You really have to be careful not to scroll with my mouse at this point like I just did. Wow, force of habit, hard to die. We do have the Oracle there. Does get rebuffed, not even managing to do anything. Here's the thing, I feel like pro players have a sixth sense that they just use so well. Able to figure out that there was an air force coming in. Now that Oracle is going to be trying to go around for harass. I feel like it's not going to have any real effect here. I feel like it's just, yep, there is the spot. Stalker's probably going to be moving in. Yep, one Stalker warped in. We have to take care of that as the proxy is found, and these 4 Stalkers will dispose of that quickly. Socke getting his expand down just a tad faster than Monty. Nevertheless, I feel Monty is in a slightly better position, even though he does lose his Oracle. How do I miss it? I know it because, well, I've watched this game before. Well, up to a certain point. A couple more minutes, and we will be back to me having no idea what is going on, and I love that position. Now here's the thing, we do have oh my gosh, did Blink get finished? I feel, nope, I hit the back button. Oopsie daisy. Or was it like a fast forward button? Yep, Blink has been finished now for Socke. Blink Stalkers, very good, very good, especially with this Observer. Now the one thing about Blink Stalkers versus this army here is that they really can't engage it directly too much, especially not with that other immortal entering the fray. This is a very strong army in direct combat. But the thing about Blink Stalkers is you don't need to be direct. Look at this battle begin, blink away. Don't think he even lost a Stalker there. But no, he did lose a single Stalker. Nevertheless, he is still slightly ahead, and it's lost basically even, but that 25 minerals says that, yeah, you know what, this game has been back and forth. Nevertheless, going to be trying to push out. Oh, see, this is what I mean. Do not be on the move command. Yeah, you still probably would have lost something, but you want to inflict at least a little bit of damage. Hard to do that, though, versus Protoss shields. Just one of those things that you have to deal with. Nevertheless, Blink Stalker is going to be heading on back, moving backwards a bit, as all of a sudden now, with all these Immortals and Void Rays, he is just grown bold, as I feel he should be. The only problem is, of course, whether or not, yep, the Stalkers are moving back. I do believe they spotted this just barely, so all of a sudden he's pulling back to defend. Archon there, love that choice. There is the High Templar Archives. Really need to start paying much more attention to this, like the Warp Prism and the photon cannons on the way. This is sort of a very dangerous position for him to be in, but I feel he has more than enough. The 2 Archons, or not the 2 Archons, the 2 Immortals, and yep, now there is a second Archon morphing in. Warp Prism there, of course, going to be very useful. Photon Overcharge on the way, providing that little bit of extra DPS, and a pylon has come down. There's the Guardian Shield. I don't expect this sentry to last very long, probably going to be picked off sooner rather than later. The Void Rays engaging the Archons, probably not going to be able to get too much off. There goes 1, 2, about to lose, but the Archons do fall and probes are pulled off the line. Stalkers engaging, trying to beat this back. All of a sudden I feel like Socke is in trouble. He needs to get something done. Maybe another Immortal might be able to help him, but he's already lost 1. These probes need to get back to work. There they go. And he's probably, no, he's not getting hit. He is out of view. Here's going to be the next engagement. All of a sudden, there is no photon overcharge. Another Archon warping in, but will it be enough? Zealots warping in as well. Probably not going to do much here as the micro goes back and forth. All of a sudden, this natural is a little bit vulnerable as that immortal does try to keep working at it. I will note that when it comes down to immortal strength, he does have slightly better here as he loses another immortal on Monty's side. All of a sudden, this is not looking good for Monty, who all of a sudden, a second ago, seemed invincible. All of a sudden, dealing with a little bit more of a force than he can handle, is going to be losing that War Prism, something I don't feel he needed to do. He probably doesn't need to lose this probe either, but it's going to happen. Pylon does go down as all of a sudden Monty's in full retreat. 4 Archons and Immortal, all that remains. Going to be taking out this Pylon over here. Don't know when he scouted it. Can't really keep track of all the things that go on in this game. And that War Prism loaded up. Oh, let's see what it's got. 3 Zealots going to be heading in for a drop. If this drop is successful, it will be quite the dangerous thing, because Monty lost a lot in that battle. Oh yeah. Resources lost, favoring Socke in a very nice way. I wouldn't call it an overwhelming way. Anything could happen still in this battle. But hey, you know what? A lot was accomplished there by Socke being able to hold that push. Very well done. I feel like it was just almost by the skin of his teeth, basically, that he held that off. The margin was a little bigger than I'm letting on, I guess. Either way, we do have ground weapons level 2 coming down for him, and double forge on the way for Monty. Now the problem is that Socke already has the advantage. On the other hand, double forge will catch up fairly quickly and eventually outpace a single forge, no matter how much ahead you really are at this point, simply because, yeah, there's not much you can do about it. There's the double chrono boost basically coming down as if he had 3 forges. No matter how much you chrono boost this one, you're basically on half speed. On the other hand, oh gosh, when did this... Yeah, he does manage to expand before his opponent. Makes complete sense considering the loss he suffered. Having a photon cannon come down, reasonable choice considering the lack of detection on the field. DTs might actually be a decent choice in this game. Where are the observers? Did they really all die? Only 1 observer on the field. Is it on patrol? No, it is not. Not going to be able to accomplish too much out here. Not much to scout. But hey, who knows the way a pro thinks? I certainly can't tell. I wish I could. I certainly wouldn't be casting. I'd just be playing. Either way, this game will continue. This base is mined out, so it is really effectively 2 base to 2 base, because I believe the same thing is happening over here. Where are his workers? Was there a drop? The drop must have happened, and I didn't even notice. Oh my goodness gracious. Ah! Oh, I should have noticed. I should have said something. I'm a failure of a caster. Don't mind my depression, folks. It's just the way I am as I blabber on. Now, ground weapons 3 is actually fairly well along before ground 1 and armor 1 are even done. Makes me feel like Monty is perhaps not chrono boosting as diligently as he might. Nevertheless, will be interesting to see what comes out of him. Anyways, shouldn't be too much of an issue. This attack here looks a little scary though, especially with those Archons. Archons always a good choice, but the Colossus coming down for Monty, all of a sudden pulling back too. A lot of Immortals there. Certainly going to be able to deal a good amount of damage to the armored units in this composition, but it's really the Archons he needs to worry about. They do not take extra damage from anything at all and deal extra damage versus bio, meaning Zealot's going to be much less effective. Not to mention their splash damage, which can wreak havoc on Colossus and Void Rays. You wouldn't really think with Colossus, but the thing is that Colossus can stand over units and Void Rays tend to bunch in the air, meaning that, yeah, you can effectively hit like a ton of units. Oh my gosh, whoa, that totally snuck up on me. I actually had my eyes closed there for a second because it's like 2 in the morning and I'm exhausted beyond all belief. All of a sudden, where did all these Archons come from? I don't think he can actually stop this. Going to be losing that Colossus, I feel, very shortly. Just not enough units to deal with these Immortals. And there's the GG from Monty, who might be Tyrantius. Oh, what a game. Very much back and forth. Had no idea who was going to pull that off, but indeed it was Socke. I can't remember which game in the series this is. I think it's like 2. I think it's 2. I think it's 2 out of 3. Well, we'll find out later. Either way, it's been FDV Vestige. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.